Hello students, welcome to class 11 biology. Today we will learn chapter 5 in biozoology. Digestion and absorption. Last class we have seen about tongue, teeth and their description. So digestive system includes all the digestive organs and also organs concerning with the secretion of enzymes that we will learn in detail now. Here the digestive system starts with mouth, ends with anus, as you know. So in the mouth region where it is getting masticated and the chemical and mechanical digestion occurs in mouth. Okay. So in the case of chemical digestion we have the presence of enzyme. That enzyme is getting secreted along with saliva, helps in the digestion of starch. Okay, so this is one of the digestive glands associated with the digestive system. Okay, so then it continues, the food is getting moved through the esophagus and once it reaches the stomach, there we have the presence of liver which secretes bile. So that bile is getting stored in the gallbladder and it is released in the duodenum for the purpose of digestion of fat. Next we have the small intestine, large intestine and it ends with the rectum. So the digestive system, glands associated with it is very simple, that is the salivary gland, liver and gallbladder to store bile. So with that the digestive glands over. Okay, so first we have the structure of the digestive system. Starting from the mouth we have learnt about the tongue, okay, and teeth. Now the oral cavity leads to this common passage that is called as pharynx. Then we have the cartilaginous flap. What is that cartilaginous flap called? Epiglottis. What is the role of epiglottis? It closes trachea once we swallow the food, so that food does not enter into the trachea. Next we have esophagus. So esophagus is otherwise called as the food pipe. Okay, so we are going to describe the esophagus. It is a thin long muscular tube concerned with the conduction of food. So what is conduction? It allows the food to pass through and it continues with the J-shaped stomach passing through the neck, throat and diaphragm. So what is diaphragm? It is a thick muscular sheet that found in between abdominal and thoracic region. So if you consider this to be the human body, so the abdominal region, so where your stomach is being present, that will be the abdominal region. Above that is called as the thoracic region, where the lungs and heart are safely kept inside the rib cage. Okay, so below the lungs we have the presence of thick muscular sheet. This muscular sheet is called as the diaphragm. Esophagus passes through the diaphragm. Okay, so then we have the cardiac sphincter. So what is a sphincter? It is a controller, so which is able to regulate the movement of the food. Okay, so it regulates the opening of the esophagus into the stomach. If the cardiac sphincter does not contract properly, there is a chance of gastric juice come up and it may cause acidity. That is called as the GERD, gastroesophagus reflux disorder. Okay, the same thing I will explain with the diagram here. You have the presence of sphincter muscle where it is getting connected with the stomach. Okay, so esophagus is getting connected with the stomach. There we have the presence of the sphincter muscle. Okay, so this is the area where the diaphragm will be present. Okay, so the food is to be digested and the stomach will be filled with all digestive enzymes and HCl. Okay, so hydrochloric acid for the purpose of digestion of food. Okay, so once this food is getting into the stomach, the digestion starts. By the time the food should come to stomach and sphincter muscle should close. If it is not getting close, there is a chance for the digestive juices to move up. So they are all highly concentrated. They may cause the corrosive effect in the upper regions of the esophagus. Okay, so that is what is described as gastroesophagus reflux disorder. The stomach functions as a temporary storage organ for the food and it is located towards the left portion of the abdominal cavity. So what are the three parts of the stomach? They are the cardiac stomach, which is getting connected with the esophagus. Okay, then fundic portion, that is the middle region of the stomach. Then the pyloric region, that is the end part of the stomach. So these are the three regions of the stomach: cardiac, fundus and pyloric region. Okay, so once the food moves into the stomach, the digestion starts and stomach ends with the pyloric stomach and it opens into the duodenum. Okay, so the opening of the stomach into the duodenum is guarded by the pyloric sphincter again. It allows a periodic movement of the partly digested food from stomach. Okay, and also it prevents regurgitation of food. What is regurgitation? It is the movement of food in the upward direction. Okay, sometimes when you feel indigested, the food may get collected in your mouth immediately. That is what is called as a regurgitation, that occurs once the pyloric sphincter is not working. The inner wall of the stomach has got many folds. They are called as the gastric raphe. So we have the folded region in the case of the earthworm's digestive system, that is called as the typhlosole and its role is to absorb. Here we have the presence of folds in the stomach is called as the gastric raphe. So why we have the folded region? To get the increased surface area once we eat more. Do you follow? So increase in surface area. The inner wall of the stomach has got the fold and this gastric raphe will unfold once you eat more to accommodate all the food inside the stomach. Then it continues, the duodenal region continues with the small intestine and which help in the final digestion and absorption of food. So what is absorption of food? Once the food is getting digested, it should be made available for all the tissues along with the blood. Okay, so the process by which digested food is moving to blood is called as the absorption. Follow? So this absorption occurs in small intestine with the help of villi, with the help of microvilli. It is the longest part, the small intestine is the longest part of the alimentary canal and it has got three regions, that is the U-shaped duodenum, that is 25 centimeter long, and middle portion is called as jejunum and highly coiled region is called as ileum. The walls of the duodenum has Brunner's gland which secrete mucus and enzyme. So mucus is a mucilaginous substance which is viscous in nature. It is essential to protect the organ from the corrosive effect of hydrochloric acid. So presence of mucus in the intestine is essential, and it is done by Brunner's gland. And ileum is the longest part of the small intestine, and it opens into cecum. So the cecum of large intestine. So ileal mucosa has numerous vascular projections called as villi, which are helpful in the process of absorption. Okay, so the villi are very small and microscopic, so they are also called as microvilli. Along with villi, the ileal mucosa also contain mucus secreting goblet cells. So here one more cell is present, that is called as the goblet cell, which helps in secretion of mucus. Then the presence of lymphoid tissues does also occur in small intestine. They are called as Peyer's patch. So these Peyer's patches are immunogenic in function. So they help in the production of lymphocytes, and also they help in the immunogenicity of the body. Okay, so the walls of the small intestine bear crypts between the base of villi. It is called as the crypts of Leiberkühn. There is no specific function is given for crypts of Leiberkühn. Only the scientist's name is given who has just observed and named it. Okay, so to continue with small intestine, we have the presence of large intestine that starts with cecum, colon and rectum. So cecum is a small blind pouch, and it opens into colon. So the colon, we have three regions again. So ascending colon, transverse and descending colon, and towards the side we have the presence of vermiform appendix. So it has got no specific function to perform, the appendix. So here comes the important point. Both cecum and vermiform appendix are large in the case of herbivorous animal. Why? Cecum is larger in the case of herbivorous animal because it acts as an important site for cellulose digestion, because these organisms feed on all the grasses and plant material. Okay, they are rich in cellulose that is to be digested. So for digestion it is stored in the cecum. In cecum we have the presence of bacteria for digestion of cellulose. Again we have the presence of hastra. What is hastra? When you draw the large intestine, you will have the wavy structure like this, that is called as the hastra. Okay, so next we have the rectum. That rectum helps in storage of the waste food, or which is after digestion, whatever is the material to be sent out, to be ejected out, is stored in the rectum, and it opens out through anus. Anus is guarded by two anal sphincter muscles. So these sphincter muscles, the anal mucosa is folded into several vertical folds, and it contains arteries and veins. They are called as the anal columns. Do you follow? In the anal region there is a presence of blood vessels, so they are vertical in appearance. Okay, so once they are getting affected, okay, they may just move out. These vertical columns of blood vessels may move out. That is what we call it as the piles or hemorrhoids. Follow? So far we have learnt about the structure of digestive system. So major, we have started with the esophagus. So esophagus passing through the diaphragm. It continues with the stomach. So stomach has got the sphincter muscle, cardiac sphincter, pyloric sphincter, and the stomach is divided into three regions: cardiac stomach, fundus, that is the body of the stomach, and pyloric stomach. Then it continues with duodenum, that is the starting point of the small intestine. So duodenum continues with the jejunum, and ileum is a long coiled portion that continues with cecum. So that is the starting point for large intestine. and cecum is getting continued with the colon. So colon has got three parts, that ascending, transverse and descending colon, which in turn connected with the rectum to store all unwanted undigested food material to be sent out through anus. Okay, so far we have learned today. So your homework is to draw the digestive system of man in your classwork. Thank you, students.